Frontline Updates, where we delve deep into military strategies and updates from conflict zones. Today, we're discussing the progress of the ongoing special military operation as of today. I'm your host, Sharifa Muhammad MGT.
I'm Colonel AUC Oguntoye, an infantry officer. Russian troop groups are exploiting localized breakthroughs to force Ukrainian reserves into high-tempo rotations while systematically targeting sustainment infrastructure, EW nodes, depots, workshops. The continued liberation of settlements signals a calibrated push to attrit Ukrainian mechanized and airborne brigade strength units. The intensity of EW asset destruction points towards an ongoing campaign to degrade Ukrainian drone ISR strike capabilities ahead of any broader operational maneuver. Ukrainian formations face compounded pressure from material attrition, degraded mobility, and interrupted logistical replenishment cycles. Absent Western rapid infusion of replenishments and counter-UAV/EW systems, Russian forces are positioned to maintain operational momentum into September.
Welcome to Frontline Updates, the podcast that brings you in-depth insights into military operations from those leading them on the ground. Today, we're joined by Colonel AUC Oguntoye, an infantry officer monitoring critical missions on the progress of the special military operation as of today. Colonel Oguntoye, thank you for being with us.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Colonel Oguntoye, let's begin with the headline. What stands out to you most in the August 20th operational picture?
What stands out today isn't simply the number of engagements but the distribution of successes across 6 major troop groupings. This briefing illustrates a coherent Russian doctrine in which pressure isn't applied at one rupture point, but rather across an extended frontage to overwhelm Ukrainian flexibility. We're seeing synchronized advances with the North, West, South, and East groups improving tactical positions, while the Center and East achieve outright liberation of settlements. These are not opportunistic pushes, they are phased operational strokes that, taken together, seek to collapse Ukrainian sustainment, not just seize terrain.
You emphasize doctrinal coherence. Looking at the North Troop Group, what is the operational purpose behind their actions in the Sumy-Kharkiv corridor?
The North Group functions as a shaping apparatus. Their task is to fix and attrit. By pushing into settlements like Gavrilovo, Zhovniv, and Udy, they are making life untenable for Ukrainian mechanized and airborne parent formations. Every destroyed tank or ranger platoon in that region denies Kyiv the ability to rotate reserves southwards. The targeting of artillery and depots in that axis tells us integrated fires are being used not simply to kill but to immobilize. That immobility becomes decisive because it forces Ukrainian commanders into predictable patterns, a fatal disadvantage on this kind of fluid, technology-driven front.
Shifting to the West grouping, the destruction of a German Leopard tank and several Western armored vehicles is noteworthy. Beyond battlefield optics, does this materially change capability?
Yes. Right. Western armor is not line replaceable at the speed Ukrainian brigades are losing them. A Leopard 2 can't simply be swapped out of a depot in Kharkiv. It's part of a complex architecture requiring Western-trained mechanics, sensors, and munitions. So when Russian forces neutralize a Leopard or take out electronic warfare hubs supporting those vehicles, they are effectively degrading the combat system, not just the platform. The West Group's systematic strikes on EW stations and ammo dumps indicate a deliberate effort to rip out the support scaffolding that makes those Western systems viable.
Let's talk numbers. The Center Troop Group reports over 400 Ukrainian casualties and liberation of Sukhatskoye and Pankovka. That's a massive blow. What makes this axis so decisive?
What makes the Center grouping decisive is its access to depth and tempo. They are cutting across the Donetsk operational belt, where Ukrainian airborne, ranger, and marine brigades are concentrated to stem breakthroughs. By stripping those elite formations of manpower and equipment on a single day, Russia isn't just bleeding Ukrainian strength, they're ruining Kyiv's ability to countermaneuver. When you liberate settlements like Sukhatskoye and Pankovka, you don't just gain geography, you acquire new gun positions, logistics nodes, and, for artillery purposes, firing lines that overlap Ukrainian rear areas. That's how layered pressure becomes an operational breakthrough down the line.
Let me follow up. How does this relate to the large number of liberated villages reported in the east and south?
Excellent question. It's about cumulative dilemmas. As the center group opens lanes through Donetsk, Ukrainian commanders must send reserves east, yet simultaneously, the east group takes Novogeorgievka and threatens Zaporizhzhia rail arteries. The south group, meanwhile, keeps pounding Ukrainian mechanized and airmobile brigades in places like Vasyukivka and Chervono, preventing them from relocating north. These axes are not isolated advances, they're cooperative levers designed to split Ukrainian decision-making and crack coherence in the command and control chain.
The destruction of multiple electronic warfare stations was repeatedly highlighted in today's briefing. Why are EW assets such high-priority targets right now?
Well, electronic warfare is the backbone of counter-drone defense, artillery spotting, and protected communications. Russia is waging what we call electromagnetic attrition. By killing Ukrainian EW stations across multiple axes, the Russian side isn't merely winning kinetic exchanges, it is removing Ukraine's ability to see the battlefield. Without that vision, Russia's own UAVs operate with impunity, its tube and rocket artillery shoots unmolested, and Ukrainians are essentially forced to fight blind. Once you control the electromagnetic spectrum, you dictate the tempo. Doctrine calls that setting the conditions of the fight.
Finally, air and naval elements appeared active, intercepting HIMARS, destroying UAVs, and eliminating Ukrainian high-speed boats in the Black Sea. How do these activities tie into the land campaign?
They close off strategic escape and supply vectors. Shooting down HIMARS rockets denies Ukraine deep strike capability. Destroying 217 UAVs keeps Russian formations safe from aerial ISR harassment. Naval interdiction of speedboats seals the Black Sea flank, ensuring supplies and infiltrations cannot offset pressure on land. In sum, you're seeing a fully integrated joint operational design, land, sea, air, and electromagnetic domains working in harmony to grind the Ukrainian war effort down to manageable rubble.
How does that level of drone usage affect frontline Ukrainian troops and their ability to maneuver? And what does this mean for armored vehicles and heavier equipment?
Armored warfare suffers badly in this new ecosystem. These FPVs strike at weak points, ammo hatches, optics, engines, and they do it cheaply. Even if Ukraine fields modern Western tanks or IFVs, they can only protect a narrow frontage. When dozens or hundreds of kamikaze drones are launched against a single assault axis daily, active protection systems become overwhelmed. So again, Russia is using drone swarms essentially as anti-armor artillery, wearing down Ukrainian mechanized capabilities faster than they can be restored.
Colonel, thank you for providing such a detailed briefing on the current military situation. Your insights are invaluable to our understanding of the conflict's dynamics. And thank you to our listeners for tuning in. Join us next time as we continue to provide up-to-date coverage on global military affairs. Stay with us for more updates and expert analyses on global defense and security issues. Stay informed, stay secure.
Thank you for the opportunity. Today, Israel is mobilizing 60,000 reservists in preparation for expanding operations in densely populated areas of Gaza City. Israeli airstrikes and attacks continue in Gaza City and Khan Yunis, with reports of fatalities, including civilians and aid workers. There's a fuel crisis affecting emergency services in Gaza. Israel is also facing protests and a divided government regarding the war and efforts to release hostages. Hamas has reportedly accepted a new ceasefire proposal, which would include a 60-day truce and prisoner exchanges. But Israel's response remains uncertain as the IDF starvation policy is in full effect.
This has been Frontline Updates. Subscribe for daily military briefings and in-depth strategic analysis. Visit our platform for maps, transcripts, and exclusive frontline updates from commanders in theater.